Your coffee may start in Vietnam. Not every cup, of course, but a surprising amount of the world's everyday coffee is connected to Vietnam in some way. Vietnam is the world's largest producer of robusta coffee and the world's second largest coffee exporter. In the latest USDA outlook, Vietnam's 2025 to 2026 crop is forecast at 31 million bags, and 30 million of those bags are robusta. That is a huge clue to the whole story. Vietnam did not become a coffee export giant by trying to be everything to everyone. It became one by getting very good at producing large volumes of the type of coffee the global market could absorb every single day. Why this matters to ordinary coffee drinkers: for a lot of people, coffee is not a luxury hobby. It is a morning habit. It is the cup before work, the iced coffee on the way home, the instant coffee in the kitchen, or the espresso blend at a café. That is where Vietnam matters. The International Trade Center notes that most coffee is exported as raw green beans and moves through a value chain of production, processing, trade, roasting, and marketing. It also notes that robusta is often used in soluble coffee, while a U.S. International Trade Commission brief says robusta is primarily used for instant coffee and blends. In other words, Vietnam is deeply connected to practical, everyday coffee, not just niche coffee culture. Why Vietnam focused on robusta? A big reason Vietnam exports so much coffee is that the country built its coffee system around robusta instead of trying to copy famous Arabica heavy origins. The USDA says the Central Highlands account for about 92% of Vietnam's coffee area and 90% of national output, and that the region's elevation, volcanic soil, and wet-dry seasonal pattern create strong conditions for robusta. The International Trade Center also notes that robusta has higher yields and greater resilience than Arabica, which helps explain why it became such an attractive crop. So Vietnam's success is not just about growing coffee. It is about growing the kind of coffee that fit its land, climate, and commercial opportunity at scale. Why high-volume robusta works for exports. Robusta gave Vietnam something exporters love: volume, consistency, and a huge customer base. A Vietnam Ministry of Industry and Trade article says about 95% of Vietnam's coffee exports are robusta, much of it aimed at the instant coffee market. That matters because buyers making blends, soluble coffee, canned coffee drinks, and mass-market products do not just want flavor. They want dependable supply, repeatable specs, and enough volume to keep factories and roasters running. Vietnam's coffee industry grew around those needs. That is also why Vietnam can influence what happens in supermarkets and cafes far beyond its borders. When you are a giant supplier of a widely used bean, you become part of daily life in countries far away from where that bean was grown. What happens on the farm after harvest? Another reason Vietnam exports so much coffee is that the industry is built for moving coffee from cherry to exportable green bean efficiently. After harvest, coffee has to be processed, dried, hulled, cleaned, sorted, and stored properly before it can travel. FAO material on Vietnam's coffee sector specifically lists drying activities, storage warehouses, and machinery for drying, milling, classifying, and polishing green coffee as part of the production and processing chain. This is important because export coffee is not just picked and shipped. It has to survive time, transport, and buyer inspection. That means post-harvest handling is not a side issue. It is a main part of why a country can become an export giant in the first place. Why drying and grading matter so much? This is where the story becomes very practical. Buyers do not purchase coffee on a romantic story alone. They buy based on whether the coffee can be roasted consistently and whether it will arrive in usable condition. FAO's green coffee grading summary points to defect limits, screen size tolerances, and moisture targets, while ISO guidance for green coffee storage and transport says export coffee has to be handled in ways that reduce infestation, contamination, and quality deterioration on the trip to the importing country. So when people hear terms like grading, sorting, moisture, or defects, those are not boring technical details. They are the rules that decide whether coffee moves smoothly from a farm in Vietnam to a roaster somewhere else in the world. Why ports and logistics matter once coffee is dried, graded, and bagged. The next challenge is getting it out to the world on time and in good condition. The International Trade Center notes that the international coffee trade is massive, with more than 130 million bags exported annually, roughly equal to around 400,000 20-foot containers, and that standardized contracts are essential for that trade to work. Vietnam's own USDA report shows how closely export performance depends on market conditions, buyer demand, stockholding, and shipment flows. This is why ports and logistics matter so much in a coffee story. Coffee is an agricultural product, but it is also a supply chain product. If the transport side fails, the coffee story fails with it. Why the whole industry is built around exports. The simplest way to understand Vietnam's coffee system is this: the country produces far more coffee than it drinks. USDA reporting has said domestic consumption is about 10% of total production, and the latest annual report still forecasts exports far above domestic use. That changes how the entire industry is built. Farms grow for export demand. Processors invest in exportable grades. Traders focus on overseas buyers. Standards, certifications, and traceability programs become more important because international buyers care about them. Even government and industry efforts around specialty coffee are partly about moving higher value products into export markets, not replacing exports. So when people say Vietnam exports so much coffee, they do not just mean coffee leaves the country. They mean the system itself was designed around that outward flow. How that coffee reaches your cup. Most of the coffee does not leave Vietnam as a finished latte or cappuccino. It usually leaves as green coffee, which is later roasted, blended, packaged, and sold in consuming countries. The International Trade Center says most coffee is exported as green beans, and USDA says green coffee still made up about 90% of Vietnam's exports in 2024, even though processed coffee is slowly gaining share. That means Vietnam often sits near the beginning of the coffee journey, not the end. A bean can be grown in the Central Highlands, processed and graded in Vietnam, shipped abroad, blended with other origins, roasted somewhere else, and then finally poured into a cup that gives no obvious sign of where the bean started. That hidden journey is exactly why this topic is so interesting. What this means for price and availability for ordinary buyers. The real payoff is simple. Vietnam matters because it helps shape both price and availability, especially in categories that rely on robusta. If a country that big is a major supplier of robusta for blends, soluble coffee, and other everyday products, then its harvest, export pace, and processing capacity can ripple into what shows up on shelves. USDA's recent reports also show Vietnam is gradually adding more processed exports, not just raw beans, which could increase its role in more finished coffee products over time. So even if a customer never reads a label that says Vietnam, Vietnam can still be part of the reason a coffee tastes a certain way, costs a certain amount, or stays available at all. So why does Vietnam export so much coffee? Because it found the right bean, in the right growing region, for the right kind of global demand, and then built an industry around moving that coffee efficiently from farm to buyer. Robusta fit the land. Drying and grading made the coffee tradable. Export systems made the trade repeatable. And global demand kept rewarding scale, consistency, and supply. That is why Vietnam is not just a coffee producer. It is a coffee logistics story, a processing story, and a daily life story. The next time you stir instant coffee, order an espresso blend, or buy a budget bag at the store, there is a real chance part of that journey began in Vietnam. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. Then tap the bell icon to turn on all notifications so you never miss any of our future videos.